Are you looking to move to the Maryland area of the USA? Shoot me an email. I can help you. There's no place like home.
We are back here on Rodent Sports as Hurricane Ian bears down on us.
Oh my God!
So I'm going to try to get this in while I still can. Let's talk about the NFL from last week and get ready for this week. We had some very interesting results. The eye catcher had to be the Miami Dolphins winning against Buffalo, who at least were by far and away my number one team in the NFL going into week 2. And I think would have probably been the consensus number one team. And, no miracle comeback needed or anything like that. Just it was a tough game. They went toe-to-toe. Miami's defense held up in the face of just total domination on offense by the Bills. Look at the box score, the fact that the Bills ran 90 plays and I think Miami ran 39. Tua Tagovailoa with a fantastic touchdown pass to Jalen Waddle to win that game for them. There should be no more questions about Tua at this point in terms of can he be a really good quarterback in this league. The answer is obviously yes, he can.
It's not something. It's not something.
And look, some people will probably say, well, the Bills are probably still the best team, but whatever. You have to take the Dolphins seriously, and here's why. The Dolphins are 2-0 in that division for starters, and they're 3-0. So they've already got the jump on everybody. They're 3-0 in conference play. That's big.
That's not fair.
It's early to talk about tiebreakers, I know, of things of that nature, but it's important. Your conference record, your division record can change things, and they've got that crucial win over Buffalo, which means it can't be swept. So it's going to come. So it may very well come down to division record or conference record between the two. So that was just such a huge win for Miami, and to do it, having got the lead, they repelled Buffalo at the goal line with a couple of questionable play calls and a really poor Josh Allen throw. Then they have that disaster where the guy punts the ball into the backside of his protector and it goes out for a safety. Which means Buffalo could have won the game with a field goal. And they were in possibly Tyler Bass's range, but the receiver couldn't get out of bounds. The clock ran out. The game was over.
Son of a bitch!
Really crazy ending in that game. But Miami's got to be taken seriously now. If they can get to 4-0, we'll talk about that game in a minute. Especially because Buffalo's got the Ravens this week. Buffalo could lose that game. They could be 2 games ahead of Buffalo if they win this week, Miami. But we'll see about that. So that was one of the things. And the other thing to talk about is Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Jaguars rule!
Jacksonville's 2-1. They went out, played the Chargers, smashed the Chargers. Now, let's be fair to the Chargers. It's quite clear Justin Herbert's not 100%. He hurt his rib. He was a game-time decision in that game. And he was clearly limited. I think that there isn't any question about it. But, the Jags get the lead. And the Chargers do make a little bit of a run at him. But here's the key thing about teams learning how to win. You've got to learn, especially against good teams, that when the pressure, you get the lead, you're all happy, and then the big team makes a charge at you, that you can repel it and then go again yourself.
Don't get sloppy.
And that's what the Jaguars did. They pulled away in this game. James Robinson, unbelievable what he's done coming off an Achilles injury. I thought Travis Etienne was going to eventually take over. It's not happening because James Robinson's that good. But the thing is, it's a nice complementary situation. So, Travis Etienne gets 13 carries for 45. James Robinson gets 17 carries for 100. And I'm sure there'll be some people saying, well, maybe he should get 25 carries. I don't know.
I want you to witness the effects of my genius firsthand.
It might be better for him. He might be kind of like Tony Pollard is for Dallas. We'll talk about them in a moment. Where, 10 to 15, not more than 15 or 16 or 17 carries in this case, and he's probably the most effective. And if you get beyond that, it could be really disastrous, or his effectiveness could be really halted. And of course, you worry about injuries and all that sort of stuff. And he is coming off that. And we got to put some respect on Christian Kirk's name. He had another touchdown. That contract was mocked by everyone. Nobody looked at that contract and thought it was a good deal for the Jaguars. They thought they had all this money to spend, and they're spending money like drunken sailors. Well, I'm here to tell you, Christian Kirk is going to do his level best to play up to that contract, and he's doing it right now. 6 catches, 72, and a touchdown. And because of the attention on him, you get a situation like Zay Jones getting 10 catches for 85 and a touchdown. And I said this at the start of the year. I targeted Trevor Lawrence and a lot of fantasy teams for this reason. I thought the bump with Doug Peterson was going to be pretty substantial. Well, it is. 262 and 3 TDs. He did not look good the first week against Washington. Some of that was Washington's pressure, and I think some of it is that Lawrence just wasn't quite there yet. He's starting to get there. And Jacksonville, to me, is clearly the best team in that division right now. They've beaten Indianapolis. They really should have beat Washington, but the good news for them is that's probably not going to hurt them, as that was an NFC game. They're 2-0 in their conference. They're 1-0 in their division. Tennessee at least got a win in that division. Indianapolis got back against the Chiefs, which was probably the biggest upset of the weekend.
That's what happens, man. Oh, my God.
But Jacksonville, in my opinion, is definitely the team that division runs through now, which is incredible. But it shows you how badly Tennessee and Indianapolis have fallen off, at least for now. But it also shows you what Doug Pearson's done for them. And since I mentioned Indianapolis, let's mention them. Somehow they won that game against the Chiefs. I had a weird feeling about that game. In the picking games I play, I took the Colts and the points. I thought it would be close. But they did a pretty good job on the Chiefs. They did not let the Chiefs run the football at all in this game. Your leading rusher is Patrick Mahomes. That can't be the case. That cannot be the case and win the game. And here's the other amazing thing. The Colts win this game, and Jonathan Taylor was pedestrian, 21 carries, 71 yards. So that's not exactly fantastic. Because you'd think the Colts would win this game. Well, they got to control the ball. They got to have ball control. They got to run the football a lot. They got to keep Kansas City's offense off the field. Not a bit of it. Didn't run the ball well at all. Did not run the ball well at all.
Gee, you're kind of all over the place there.
And yet found a way to win the game. So, you tip your cap to them on that. They did hold the ball for 33 minutes. But they certainly didn't do it. They didn't do it with a punishing ground attack. 82 yards rushing. Held Kansas City to 58. As I said, Patrick Mahomes, 4 carries, 26. That's your leading rusher. That's not a recipe for success at all. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had seven rushes for 0 yards, but he did have a touchdown. Unbelievable. Jarrett McKinnon, 7 carries, 20. I mean, McKinnon and Edwards-Helaire are pretty good running backs in this league. There's no way they should be held to that. So, and of course, the superstar was Jelani Woods. First 2 catches of the season, 2 touchdowns. How about that for the near the goal line? As the tight end army strikes again for the Colts. So the Colts probably saved their season a little bit. Although again, in that division, it isn't going to take more than 9 wins to win that division. So maybe they wouldn't have been out of it at 0-2-1. But that was a huge win, and that's a head scratching loss for the Chiefs, and it will only look more so as the season goes on. I would expect. And I mentioned Dallas, so let's mention Dallas. Dallas' season was supposed to be kaput. I certainly thought it was. They lost to Tampa. They lost Dak Prescott for, what people thought was 8 weeks. Dallas has won both games with Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush has been efficient. He's been efficient. He hasn't had to be brilliant, but he doesn't have to be. They go Monday night to the Giants, and they fall behind in that game in the second half after dominating in the first half and not really making of it what they should. Dallas, because of some penalties and some other things. So they down. It's 13-6. You know, the Giants get the big touchdown from Saquon Barkley in the third quarter, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, the Giants are going to go on with this. The Cowboys immediately responded with a touchdown drive that was finished off by Ezekiel Elliott. And one of the big stories coming out of this game isn't just Cooper Rush's efficiency, 21 of 31, 215, a touchdown, which is not going to blow anyone's doors off. But when you run the football like Dallas runs the football, that's all you need. Dallas had 176 rushing. Tony Pollard, 105, Elliott, 73, and a touchdown. And what people don't understand, because I see this with Cowboys fans, oh, why do we ever give the ball to Elliott? Look at what Pollard's doing. He's averaging this, that, and the other per carry. Pollard is really effective with 10 to 15 rushes. And I think beyond that, the pounding he would take would reduce his effectiveness. I think it's the same thing with him as it is with James Robinson. That's having Elliott to run inside, run in between the tackles, take the big hits, the tough hits, get your first downs on third and short, get your goal line touchdowns. That is going to be the formula of success for Dallas. What? Especially with Cooper Rush in there. Of course, the question I have, and the question I've asked Cowboys fans, and nobody can answer me on this because I think they agree, this is the game plan you should have for Dak. You shouldn't be just doing this for Cooper Rush. You should be doing this for Dak. Dak would be a lot better if he only had to throw 25 to 30 times a game and he could turn around and hand the ball off 28 or 30 times in a game, as a for instance. Balance from Dallas. Dallas has balance, and when they have balance, they are tough. The other story was CeeDee Lamb. He was dropping passes in the first half. He dropped a pass that should have been a touchdown. That's one of the reasons why Dallas didn't have a bigger lead at halftime that they probably merited. And, man, that Cowboys fans were coming hard for CeeDee Lamb. They were killing him, talking about Noah Brown's our real number one and all sorts of other things. CeeDee Lamb comes back with some big catches in the second half. One of them to set up the Elliott touchdown where he run over two guys and got down to the one. Jesus! The other one, a tough catch in the fourth quarter to give them the lead for good and finish off an 83-yard drive. I'm a CeeDee Lamb believer. I've always have been. No more slander of CeeDee Lamb from you Cowboys fans, at least not for a while. Gotta lay off of him because he helped win you that game. 8 catches for 87, a touchdown. Dallas is going to keep their head above water. I think they'll beat Washington this weekend. By the way, Micah Parsons only had half a sack, but Dexter Lawrence had 3, and that's because New York was that worried about Micah Parsons that everybody else got to eat. That front seven is scary. They get after people. Carson Wentz is going to look like a piñata next week. Dallas is going to be 3-1. And the fact that they can keep their head above water, and all they've got to undo and understand is this game plan you're using now, use it for Dak Prescott, because if you do, you won't be scoring 23 points in games. You'll be scoring 33 or 34 or more. So Dallas is back, unfortunately, and that's going to make all your Cowboy fan friends insufferable.
I always wear a Trojan when I go back door.
They still got to worry about Philadelphia, who's 3-0 after they pasted the Commanders. Very interesting game this week. Philadelphia plays Jacksonville. What's going to happen there with Doug Peterson coming back to Lincoln Financial Field, where he spent 9 years, as he rightly says, as both an assistant as a head coach, won a Super Bowl, and then famously got turfed out after he replaced Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter of a game against Washington, allowing Philadelphia to lose and get a much better draft position, which they used to very good effect, and allowing Washington to get into the playoffs at 7-9. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of reception he gets from the notoriously tough Philly faithful, but that is quite the game on Sunday. Really, that's probably the best game at 1 o'clock, even though, and I'm wondering if CBS will go with that nationally, because really, that at 1 o'clock, that's the game I kind of want to see the most. So Philadelphia, Jacksonville, two teams on the rise, two teams that could threaten to do some maybe surprising things to some people. A lot of people were on the Eagles to be really good this year. Jacksonville's maybe going to come out of nowhere for some folks, but a very interesting game at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And then at 4 o'clock, it's a little bit lighter. Packers-Patriots in the past would have been a real spotlight game. Packers should really crush the Patriots. Looks like Brian Hoyer instead of Mac Jones. And the Patriots offense is already struggling as it is. That's gonna be real tough. Oh, I did mention, you know what? I also forgot Ravens-Bills at 1 o'clock is a huge game because that's a potential playoff preview, I should say. That's a great game at 1 o'clock as well. Interesting thing there for me is, man, the Ravens defense is struggling. Ravens did win last week, but they gave up 26 to the Patriots. The Patriots are not a good offense.
You pathetic pair of pitiful pinheads!
You shouldn't be giving up 26 points to the Patriots. They get, and that's a week after Tua and the Dolphins came from 21 down in the fourth quarter and scored 4 touchdowns on them in the fourth quarter. So I'll tell you what, it's a big issue for the Ravens. It's the thing that may keep them out of the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson continues to be on fire and continues to justify, getting a big contract that he may very well get in the offseason. But they got to fix that defense. And they let their defensive coordinator go, Wink Martindale. He's turned up in New York and he's already doing pretty good work with them. That's with the Giants, that is. You wonder about that. The Ravens defense is a big problem for them. And they're a really good team, but that's what could keep them from the ultimate successes that they want.
Non c'è capito niente.
Bucks Chiefs, which right now is Sunday night and right now is on. It's going to depend on when this storm gets the heck out of here. That's a big game. Both of those teams are 2-1. The AFC West is not looking nearly as fearsome.
Feeling a bit weak.
I'm not sure there's as much on the line for the Chiefs as there might be for the Bucks. That said, the NFC South doesn't look too fearsome either. So that's an interesting game, but it doesn't have what's on the line for, say, Monday night, which is Rams 49ers, which is a huge game in the NFC West. The 49ers do not want to go to 1-3, and they do not want to lose a game to the Rams at home, knowing that they've got to play up there and knowing that they're going to be 2 games behind them. I feel like the 49ers are desperate. Garoppolo was not good against Denver. They should have won that game. Denver were abject, and yet they couldn't win it because Garoppolo struggled. So for all the people that were, Garoppolo's back and everything's just going to go great now, doesn't look like it right now to me. Does not look like it right now to me. But they are playing the Rams, and the 49ers, even though they lost to them in the NFC Championship game last year, they have absolutely had the wood on the Rams. So, and they're favored, which is surprising given that they're 1-2 and they're playing the defending champions of the NFL at home. But they're favored, so we will see about that as well. So I hope you enjoyed this Rodent Sports look at the NFL. Whenever we get through this storm and get power back, we'll be back doing more episodes. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day, everybody.
That's it. We're done, right?